HT Smartcast.
You are listening to an HT Smartcast original.
एक मिनट रुक जाओ, रेडी होने दो. चलो ये कर लेते हैं. दिस कुड बी अ ग्रेट इंट्रो.
Hi, I'm Akshay.
Hi, this is Saurabh, and you are listening to the Founder Thesis podcast. We meet some of the most celebrated startup founders in the country.
And we want to learn how to build a unicorn.
Hey guys, my name is JC. I call myself an accidental entrepreneur. I'm the founder of Fittr and I'm here to speak to you guys.
Success isn't about greatness, it's about consistency. And those who are consistent are bound for greatness. If certain words could describe the hunk, Jitendra Chouksey, in the world of fitness entrepreneurs, it'd be these. Bullied for being fat during his childhood, JC strived to become the fittest version of himself. He believed in all that he had and gave his goals every bit of dedication he could. But little did he know that life had other plans for him. Not only did JC transform himself, but he became a fitness entrepreneur with two very successful businesses. Tune in, for in this episode of Founder Thesis, Akshay Dutt unwraps the tales of Jitendra's company Fittr, one of the world's largest online fitness and nutrition community.
So, what was your ambition when you were studying as a kid, as a teenager?
पता नहीं यार, अभी तो like now when I think about it, I wanted to be so many things. कभी लगता था सुपर हीरो बनना है, कभी लगता था बिजनेसमैन बनना है, कभी लगता था डॉक्टर बनना है, कभी इंजीनियर. So many things. But वैसा होता है ना कि when you come from a background like that, your thought process is also limited to the movies you watch, right? So कभी किसी एक्टर की मूवी देख ली तो बस वो एक्टर बनना है, जो वो एक्टर कर रहा है वही करना है. दुनिया उतनी हो जाती है ना, वहाँ सिमट के रह जाती है. सो आपको पता ही नहीं है कि और होता क्या है लाइफ में, राइट? सो बचपन में वैसे बहुत सारी एस्पिरेशंस थी, फिर धीरे धीरे थोड़ा सा मोल्ड होती गई एस्पिरेशंस.
तो मोल्ड होते होते कहाँ, मतलब बाय द टाइम यू वर फिनिशिंग स्कूल कहाँ पे थे आप? लाइक व्हाट हैड यू थॉट कि क्या करना है नेक्स्ट?
By the time I finished school, I think my first priority was to fit into the society. I was very antisocial, not because I was kind of introvert. I just had body image issues. I was fat, and I also kind of felt ugly, and I had people mocking all the time. चलते फिरते कोई भी मार पीट देता था. So those kind of things were very common in my life.
How fat were you? मतलब,
I was quite fat, so
like what was your weight?
I think I was around 86 kgs when I was in class 11th or 12th, and that was quite a lot of weight.
So then what did you do to overcome this?
So I think around when I was in class 8, there was a friend of mine. उसने बोला मजाक मजाक में कि अरे मोटे कितना खाता रहता है, कुछ करता क्यों नहीं एक्सरसाइज वगैरह. So I took that very seriously. फिर मैं जिम जाना शुरू कर दिया वहीं पे. मेरे घर के पास में एक छोटा सा जिम था, which was like an underground sort of a gym. 100 रुपए उसकी monthly fees थी, and that was a big task क्योंकि dad को convince करना was very difficult. So I remember I actually stole 100 rupees to go to the gym.
अच्छा.
मैं ट्यूशन की जगह जिम जाता था और किसी को पता नहीं था घर में. और एक दिन मेरे डैड डायरेक्ट जिम में पहुंच गए. फिर उन्होंने वहाँ पे मेरी पिटाई करते हुए वापस घर लेके गए. ये क्या कर रहे हो, सब अच्छे लोग नहीं जाते हैं जिम वगैरह. सो बट फिर धीरे धीरे कन्विंस किया, बताया कि पापा यहाँ पे एक्सरसाइज करते हैं, देखिए कितने सारे लोग स्ट्रांग हो रहे हैं और मुझे ऐसे पसंद नहीं है, लोग मुझे मोटा बोलते हैं, तो मुझे एक्सरसाइज करनी है, अब आपको जो करना है आप करो. फिर जैसे तैसे उनको कन्विंस किया, फिर जिम जाना शुरू किया. पतला तो नहीं हुआ, बट आई थिंक आई स्टार्टेड बिल्डिंग मसल्स. Underneath that whole fat of mine, there were muscles developing, or I was getting skilled, like push-ups, pull-ups, lifting heavy. All those things became a part of life, and I think that continued for the rest of almost now. It's almost 20-21 years that I have been working out every single day. So I think it became a part of my life.
What did you choose to do for graduation?
फिर उसके बाद मैं थ्रू आउट कॉलेज, लाइक हाउ यूजुअल कॉलेजेस को, ओनली इन माय केस मैंने फर्स्ट ईयर में ही लोगों से झगड़ा कर लिया था. सो आई हैड इनफ मार्क्स इन माय 12th, बट मेरा AIEEE कोई एक अच्छे एग्जाम में ऐसा कोई खास रैंक नहीं आई थी. सो आई हैड टू सेटल फॉर अ लोकल इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज. सो आई सिलेक्टेड सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग.
तो आप कह रहे थे फर्स्ट ईयर में?
फर्स्ट ईयर में मेरा झगड़ा हो गया था. एंड द कॉलेज वाज एक्चुअली क्वाइट फार. सो पहले मैं अपने घर से निकलता था, वहाँ से एक बस पकड़ के मॉर्निंग में 6 बजे हाफ वे जाता था, और फिर वहाँ से फिर कॉलेज की बस आती थी जो कि हमको एक दूसरे गांव में लेके जाती थी. सो दैट यूजुअली यूज टू टेक अराउंड 1.5 to 2 hours. सो वहाँ पे टेक्नोक्रेट्स करके कॉलेज था. डे 1 और 2 और हम लोग की वहाँ पे रैगिंग शुरू हो गई थी. और रैगिंग जब शुरू हो जाती है यूजुअली, तो कई बार ऐसा होता है टीचर्स को जानबूझ के ब्रेक्स पे भेज दिया जाता है. एंड इट्स लाइक कि रैगिंग तो होनी ही होती है. ये चीज़ मुझे पता नहीं थी, तो मेरा बहुत ही गंदा झगड़ा हो गया था सीनियर से, और मारपीट हो गई थी, जिसके कारण मुझे पूरे साल कॉलेजेस में थोड़ा आइसोलेटेड रहना पड़ा. बट देन इट वाज अ ब्लेसिंग इन डिसगाइज, क्योंकि एक एक जिद थी अंदर की, यार ठीक है तुम लोग मुझे आइसोलेट कर दो, बट आई एम गोइंग टू प्रूव माई सेल्फ एंड आई डोंट नीड यू गाइस. तो उस जिद के चक्कर में आई स्टार्टेड स्कोरिंग गुड मार्क्स. इनफैक्ट मैं 5 सेमेस्टर्स में ऑलमोस्ट मैंने अपनी क्लास में टॉप भी किया. हालांकि इनसिग्निफिकेंट, बिकॉज इतना कोई खास बड़ा फेमस कॉलेज नहीं था. एंड आई एंडेड अप ग्रेजुएटिंग विद डिस्टिंक्शन. सो और डिस्टिंक्शन के अलावा मेरे 2 कंपनीज में कैंपस प्लेसमेंट भी हुए थे उस टाइम पे. सो दैट वाज माय कॉलेज.
Okay. So which company did you join then?
सो मैस्टेक कंपनी जो थी उसने पहले ऑफर लेटर दे दिया था, और उसकी ज्वाइनिंग आई थिंक हमारे वाज अराउंड अक्टूबर 2008 लगभग. लाइक आई वेरी डिस्टेंटली रिमेंबर. सो अक्टूबर 2008 में उसकी ज्वाइनिंग थी, और हम लोग की ट्रेनिंग हुई फिर मुंबई में. वहाँ से ट्रेनिंग के बाद में हम लोग को पुणे शिफ्ट किया गया. और पुणे वाज द फर्स्ट सिटी आई लाइक लव्ड इट. लाइक मुंबई में जो ट्रेनिंग थी दैट वाज वेरी ब्रीफ, छोटे टाइम के लिए थी. बट व्हेन आई केम टू मुंबई व्हेन आई केम टू पुणे आई इमीडिएटली फेल इन लव विद द सिटी. द कल्चर वाज वेरी नाइस, एंड फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम आई हैड पिज्जा
अच्छा.
in my whole life. Yes. और स्मोक इन जोश पे एक्चुअली मेरे फ्रेंड्स मुझे लेके गए थे फर्स्ट टाइम. हम लोग का ट्रेनिंग बैच था, राइट. सो स्मोक इन जोश जो कल्याणी नगर में है वहीं पे लेकर गए थे. दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई एक्चुअली हैड पिज्जा इन माय लाइफ. और थोड़ा जो इनहिबिशंस थे वो थोड़े कम होने लगे. फिर धीरे धीरे करके लाइफ पटरी पे आ रही थी. आई वाज अर्निंग कुछ 15-16 हज़ार रुपए की सैलरी थी. सो एवरीथिंग वाज नाइस. एक घड़ी भी खरीद ली मैंने पहले ही महीने में.
अच्छा. You were essentially writing code इस job में.
Yeah. So I was initially I was a software engineer trainee, so I was writing code. So हम लोग को C Sharp, Java, .NET इनकी preparations करवाते थे. उसके बाद में फिर recession आया.
इस time पे there was no ambition के entrepreneurship करनी है या anything. You were pretty happy being in a job, having enough money, enough time for fitness. मतलब that was the goal of life.
Absolutely. उस टाइम पे कुछ aspirations नहीं थी. जॉब लग गई. I mean, see, the day I got the job was the day I made my dad proud. हम लोग के वहाँ पे अगर किसी की जॉब लग जाती है, that's like a big celebration.
Right.
और मतलब माई एजुकेशन हैड फाइनली कम टू अ कंक्लूजन, राइट, कि बच्चे की मेरी एमएनसी में जॉब लग गई है, अच्छा खासा पैकेज है, 2-2.25 लाख रुपए का साल का. सो और क्या चाहिए.
हाँ, settle हो गया.
सेटल हो गया. उसके बाद में फिर नेक्स्ट एस्पिरेशन जो होती है वो शादी ब्याह बच्चे की होती है, राइट. सो फैमिली वाज हैप्पी, आई वाज हैप्पी. बट फिर रिसेशन आया. रिसेशन में हम लोग को कंपनी ने सारे जो मेरे साथ वाले ग्रुप वाले थे उनको सबको बोल दिया कि बॉस अभी आप लोग को 2 ऑप्शन है, या तो आप घर जा सकते हो और आपको 4,000 हम सैलरी देंगे, या फिर आप पुणे में रह के काम कर सकते हो. 4,000 हम सैलरी देंगे, और अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट आया तो फिर हम आपको एब्जॉर्व कर लेंगे. तो अब बाकी सब लोग तो छोड़ छोड़ के चले गए. धीरे धीरे लोगों की जॉब लगती गई. मैं यहीं रह गया था पुणे में. सो कई बार बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रगल हो जाती थी, क्योंकि 4,000 रुपये में एक्चुअली मैनेज नहीं हो पाता है. मैं पीजी में रहता था वडगांव शहरी में, जहाँ की 2,700 was our रेंट. सो उसको निकालने के बाद में कुछ 1,500 रुपये के आसपास में बचते थे. 1,300 रुपये. तो 1,300 रुपये में फिर मतलब ऑटो वॉज आउट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. और कल्याणी नगर में देयर इज ए हाउस जिसका गेट कभी कभी खुला रहता था. सो अगर उस हाउस से आप क्रॉस करते थे तो वहां से मैस्टेक बहुत पास पड़ता था. और किसी दिन अगर वो गेट क्लोज हो गया, फिर आपको पूरा वॉक करके पूरा वडगांव शहरी का रोड क्रॉस करके वो गली वली से और फिर पूरा यहाँ पे आना पड़ता था, विच वॉज रफली आई थिंक 2-2.25 किलोमीटर तो रहेगा. सो कभी कभी ऐसा होता था कि वो गेट खुला रहता था, कभी कभी नहीं. सो आई यूज टू वॉक, क्योंकि ऑटो could not afford definitely. और कभी कभी खाने में भी थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाता था. सो आई थिंक देयर वाज अ लक्ष्मी थाली स्टॉल कल्याणी नगर में. वहाँ पे दे यूज टू सर्व 30 रुपीज़ का एक थाली आता है जिसमें 2 चपाती और 2 सब्जी आपको देते थे. एंड यू कैन रिप्लेस रोटी विथ राइस. सो मैनेज किया मैंने कम से कम 2 या 3 महीने में यहाँ रहा पुणे में। फिर उसके बाद मैं जब बहुत ज़्यादा डिफ़िकल्ट हो गया
एंड जिम फीस वगैरह भी थी, यू वर स्टिल वर्किंग आउट?
नहीं, फिर यहाँ जिम वगैरह सब बंद हो गया था। यहाँ पे तो फिर मतलब कुछ चल ही नहीं रहा था, खाना ही नहीं मिल रहा था तो द इट वाज़ ऑल अबाउट सर्वाइवल कि अभी क्या करना है बिकॉज़ आई डेफिनिटली डिडन्ट वांटेड टू गो बैक क्योंकि वो एक हो जाता है ना कि यार इतनी इतनी मुश्किल से यहाँ पहुँचे हैं शहर में, अब वापस वही अपने गाँव में जाना पड़ेगा और मुझे तो वो जगह बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं थी, मेरा गाँव वगैरह, शहर वगैरह, क्योंकि मैं वहाँ से निकलना ही चाहता था। सो आई ट्राइड माय बेस्ट यहाँ पे इधर-उधर लोगों से जॉब्स माँगी, नहीं मिला कुछ, फिर घूम फिर के पापा ने कहा यार देखो तुम
एंड आपको घर से पैसा भी नहीं लेना था, लाइक यू डिसाइडेड यू डोंट?
घर से पैसा पापा दे देते थे कुछ ना कुछ हर महीने थोड़ा बहुत दे देते थे बट ऑब्वियसली अच्छा नहीं लगता था मांगना। फिर एक टाइम के बाद जब उनको भी लगा कि यार कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, पैसे मिल नहीं रहे हैं, हमको ही तुमको देना पड़ रहा है, सो व्हाई डोंट यू कम बैक, तो फिर जाना पड़ा वापस। फिर आई थिंक अराउंड अप्रैल के आसपास में 2009 अप्रैल में मैं चला गया वापस। उसके बाद में फिर कुछ उम्मीद वगैरह नहीं थी, फिर वहाँ आ गया, फिर सोचा कि यार चलो पुणे से काम करके आए, हो सकता है यहाँ भोपाल में कुछ मिल जाए, किसी कंपनी में काम। वहाँ पे कोई कंपनी वाले ने किसी ने काम नहीं दिया, इनफैक्ट 5-5 हज़ार रुपए के जॉब भी नहीं मिल रहे थे मुझे। तो फिर उसके बाद में लगा कि अब क्या करें, अब तो कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है, चलो कॉलेज में पढ़ाई करना शुरू कर देते हैं, लोगों को पढ़ाना शुरू कर देते हैं। सो वहाँ अप्लाई करने के लिए किया कि कॉलेज में प्रोफेसर बन जाए, तो वहाँ पे भी उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं तुम्हें मास्टर डिग्री करनी पड़ेगी।
ओके,
तो फिर लगा कि यार अब तो एक ही सहारा है, गेट की प्रिपरेशन करते हैं,
ओके।
मास्टर्स डिग्री करते हैं और फिर ही कुछ अपना जॉब का होगा। तो वो किया, रोज जाना आना जाना आना, एंड लाइफ वाज मतलब ऐसा लग रहा था कि यार अब कुछ नहीं है, बस करते रहो, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि क्या चल रहा है। बट आई थिंक उसके बाद मैं नवंबर 2009 में आई थिंक एल का एक दिन वन फाइन डे ऑफर लेटर आया मुझे, जिसका पहले नहीं आया था, एल इन्फोटेक का, मेरी 2 कंपनीज में हुआ था, राइट। सो एल का ऑफर लेटर आया
ओके।
और आई थिंक आई क्राइड सो मच मैन, मेरे डैड भी मॉम भी, ऑल ऑफ अस वी क्राइड, बट फाइनली वी वर सो हैप्पी कि चलो वापस से आई गेट अ चांस। एल का ऑफर आया, तुरंत मैं बोरी बिस्तर बांध के मुंबई चला गया। मुंबई से फिर बैंगलोर मैसूर शिफ्ट हुआ गया, 3-4 महीने हम लोग की मैसूर में ट्रेनिंग हुई, वहाँ से हम लोग को स्ट्रीम्स दिए गए, आई सेलेक्टेड एसएपी। मुंबई में फिर आया वापस, मुंबई में आई थिंक आई वर्कड फॉर ऑलमोस्ट 2 years।
ओके।
यहाँ पे थोड़ा ठीक हो गया था, मतलब आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग आउट, आई मेड फ्रेंड्स, एवरीथिंग वाज गोइंग गुड, तो यहाँ पे काफ़ी काम किया। फिर उसके बाद में लाइफ वाज गेटिंग बेटर एवरी सिंगल डे, एंड आई थिंक उसके बाद से फिर देन आई गॉट सिलेक्टेड इन आईबीएम।
व्हाट वाज द वर्क प्रोफाइल?
या आई वाज अ कंसल्टेंट।
एल&टी में क्या था, मतलब यू वर अ कंसल्टेंट, लाइक यू वर एन एसएपी कंसल्टेंट?
Yeah, I was an SAP consultant, so we used to work on a Johnson and Johnson project. उसके बाद में फिर I moved to Bangalore, वहाँ पे एल में ही, तो एल में लगभग 3 साल मेरे कंप्लीट हुए। उसके बाद में मैंने वहाँ से छोड़कर IBM में जॉब ज्वाइन कर लिया बैंगलोर में। और बैंगलोर में
सेम सेम एसएपी कंसल्टेंट?
सेम सेम, वहाँ पे प्रोजेक्ट्स डिफरेंट थे, वहाँ पे इट वाज मोर अ शेयर्ड सर्विसेज डिलीवरी, सो वहाँ पे हमारे पास में और इंटरनेशनल प्रोजेक्ट्स थे। सो आई वाज वर्किंग ऑन लोरियल, लक्सॉटिका,
ओके।
आरामको, ऐसे बहुत सारी बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज के प्रोजेक्ट्स थे। और वहीं पे थोड़ा सा आई ऑल्सो डेवलप्ड ऑन माई कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स,
ओके।
और ज़्यादा वर्कआउट करना स्टार्ट कर दिया वहाँ पे, और ज़्यादा मतलब फिटनेस में घुसता चला गया बिकॉज देयर वाज नथिंग टू डू, द वर्क वाज कंपैरेटिवली गेटिंग ईजियर एंड ईजियर, एंड यू वर गेटिंग डिसेंट मनी, कुछ 50,000 सैलरी आती थी हाथ में, सो एवरीथिंग वाज फाइन। एंड अराउंड द सेम टाइम आई मेट आकृति, माय वाइफ।
मैं यही पूछ रहा था कि यू हैड सो मच फ्री टाइम, तो कोई गर्लफ्रेंड नहीं थी क्या?
गर्लफ्रेंड थी, बट उसके बाद में फिर आई 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 मेट आकृति। जैसे मुंबई छोड़ा तो गर्लफ्रेंड भी छूट गई, देन आई मूव टू बैंगलोर। अगेन आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ व्हाट वेंट, but I met Akriti, and then Akriti was studying for her MBA in Bangalore, and I had just started working with IBM, so we started dating.
How did you meet her?
So I randomly pinged her on Facebook, seeing that we are from the same place, MP, and you know how Facebook is like. I used to be the same guy वो लड़कियों को मैसेज करते रहते हैं, हाय हेलो, होपिंग कि कभी किसी का रिस्पॉन्स आएगा, एंड एक्सीडेंटली आकृति का रिस्पॉन्स आ गया।
But I imagine you must have been pretty, मतलब you were working out, तो you must be pretty fit by then, तो आपको मतलब attention तो मिलती होगी लड़कियों से?
यार अटेंशन मिलती थी, लेकिन मैं इतना I was extremely shy.
Yeah, you were very shy.
I was extremely shy. अगर कोई मुझसे बोले कि जाके उस लड़की से बात कर ले, I can't do it. So मुझे लोग बोलते थे कि यार that girl wants to talk to you, this girl wants to talk to you. अब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि मैं क्या करूँ. मैं जाके उससे बात करूँ, क्या करूँ, कैसे मतलब I was very very socially awkward and very shy. But I think when I met Akriti and because she was from my place, we connected on different things. There was this mall where we met once, and then after that we started going out together again and again. थोड़ा लगा कि यार फैमिली को बता देना चाहिए. So you told her फैमिली वाले उसके फैमिली को भी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी because I was well settled working with IBM. हम लोग सेम कास्ट के भी थे तो कोई ज़्यादा इशू नहीं हुआ. And then we got married in 2013 February.
How old were you then?
I was, I think, around 27 years old.
And so at 27, you are married, earning well at IBM. Then what happened after that?
Then life was cool. Life was good. We made a lot of friends in Bangalore. Around the same time, we took a 1 BHK flat, small flat in Kamanahalli. It's near Marathalli. So, and Akriti is like, she loves clean stuff. She's a clean freak, right? So because of her, I also learned some good habits. Or life was set. So I used to drive every single day to Manita Tech Park, which is almost 1 hour if you go by bike. So I used to have a bike back then, R15, which I had loaned, and I used to drive every single day. And then I'll come back, spend time with my wife, and life was good. Saturday Sundays was party, and Bangalore is known for its party culture. बीच में आदत भी थोड़ी खराब हो गई, alcohol, smoking and all those things, going out on weekends, हद से ज़्यादा पीना, all those things, all that happened, right? And after 1 year, I got fed up. थोड़ा सा बैंगलोर में जहाँ पे मैं काम कर रहा था वहाँ पे थोड़े से I got into trouble with one of my managers, and then I said, boss, I'll quit this and I'll go somewhere else. So at that point of time I said, let me apply back.
Got into trouble? How?
The manager was rude. He would always, micromanage. He'll always, ask me, why am I 5 minutes late? What is happening? It seems like sometimes he was just pinpointing. He didn't like the fact that I was working out and I was fit. And he will always bring that up in the discussion. कि तुम्हारे पास exercise करने का time है, तुम्हारे पास ये time है, तुम बोलते हो तुम busy हो, but मैंने देखा तुमको exercise करते हुए. So I just didn't like that, and it was getting too much. So I said, just let it go. I'll apply to Pune, and because I always wanted to come back to Pune, it's just that I could never. So I started applying to Pune, and I got a good job in Tieto. It's a software company in Kharadi, and I got good package. Everything was perfect. Shifted here, uh, got a new, uh, rented a flat 2 BHK in Kharadi, and the gym was almost like walking distance. The company was walking distance, and around the same time, my wife got pregnant, and life was again good. The only problem was that my manager in IBM uh, also had applied for a job in the same company at the same time, and he joined Tieto 1 month before me, again in a senior position. So while everything else was perfectly fine, life was getting miserable because of this manager. And it went so bad that in 6 months I had to quit Tieto again. And I had applied to another company, and then I shifted to Emphasis. Emphasis was perfect. Everybody was super cool. The managers, everybody was like amazing. And I think uh, when Rachel was born in 2014 on 6th of July, uh, I just had this huge sense of responsibility. I said, okay, this is my daughter, and I have to make sure I become the best dad for her. And that day, I think it was like a sort of promise to myself and my wife. I told her that, boss, whatever we are doing today, and whatever the circumstances, I promise you one thing: every day will be better than yesterday. And that is the promise which I have upheld since those last 7 years. And so I quit all my bad habits. I started working out, and I started posting some pictures on social media. I think that started in 2013, but I think 2014 uh, in the beginning of 2014 I participated in a competition also. January, I think Body Power Expo was there, and that also gave me a lot of exposure on social media. I think a lot of people started following me. People started asking me for suggestions on fitness, And around the same time, yeah, Facebook. From Facebook, some people came on WhatsApp, and I created a small WhatsApp group, and I started training these people for free. So I would have Google Drive. I will ask these guys to fill in their details, and all those things were part of my Google Drive. And when these people started getting results, and some of these people were from the gym where I was working out. So I was working out in Abs Kharadi, sorry, Abs Magarpatta city. And so some of these people from that gym. Now, when they started getting results, उन्होंने बाकी लोगों को बताना शुरू कर दिया कि यार JCA is giving us training and 3 months में हमारा इतना अच्छा रिजल्ट आ गया. So उनके results को देखने के बाद में I started getting more and more requests from people, and some people even traveled from different cities, and some people were from even different countries altogether. So I think 2 or 3 people were from US. And at one point of time I had like 180, 190 people who I was training, and I used to do it for free. uh, I think when things blew out of proportion, मुझे लगा कि यार थोड़ा time बहुत ज़्यादा लग रहा है इसमें, and I'm not able to give proper time to neither my job nor my family. और मैं पूरे टाइम में इन लोग की क्वेरीज ही सॉल्व करता रहता हूँ. ऑफिस में बैठ के भी उनके व्हाट्सएप मैसेजेस को रिप्लाई करता था. सर प्रोटीन कितना खाना है, कार्ब्स कितना खाना है. I said, this is too much. Let me just take all their questions and write it in a booklet. So I think I started writing a booklet around July, August के आसपास में, and around the same time,
When your daughter was born.
no, my daughter was so this is
Acha, next year July. Okay, 15.
next year, and around same time I remember I had a back injury. Actually मेरा back का problem थोड़ा बचपन से, because I have osteoarthritis. So back ऊपर नीचे मेरी हमेशा lifetime, throughout lifetime होती रहती थी. But I think जून जुलाई में उस टाइम पे बहुत ज़्यादा ख़राब हो गई, इतनी ज़्यादा कि मतलब I could not even get up and move on my own. So उसके बाद में I just sat and started writing that booklet, and I called it Get Shredded. आई थिंक 3 से 4 हफ्ते में मैंने एक 30 से 40 पन्नों की वो किताब लिख के, और फेसबुक में मैंने एक ग्रुप बना दिया, स्क्वाट्स करके. उसका फुल फॉर्म था सिस्टमैटिक क्वांटिटेटिव यूनिफाइड एस्थेटिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम. क्योंकि एक तो स्क्वाट्स एक्सरसाइज है, तो SQ तो समझ में आ गया था. बाकी मैंने कहा बाकी की चीज़ें इसमें जोड़ देते हैं, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम, सो दैट स्क्वाट्स की पूरी स्पेलिंग कंप्लीट हो जाए. तो स्क्वाट्स करके ग्रुप बनाया, उसमें वो व्हाट्सएप के जितने लोग थे उनको ऐड कर दिया. उसके बाद में वो बुक पब्लिश कर दिया. बुक पब्लिश कर दी तो लगभग 25,000 लोगों ने उस बुक को डाउनलोड कर लिया, और डाउनलोड करने के बाद में उन्होंने वो ग्रुप भी ज्वाइन कर लिया. तो अब ग्रुप में काफ़ी लोग आते जा रहे थे, और मुझे लगा कि यार आई विल बी सॉल्विंग द प्रॉब्लम इंस्टेड ऑफ सॉल्विंग द प्रॉब्लम. आई क्रिएटेड अ बिगर प्रॉब्लम कि नाउ मोर पीपल वर रीडिंग द बुक्स, एंड दे हैड डाउट्स, एंड दे वर आस्किंग कि जैसे आपने ये लिखा है, इसका क्या मतलब होता है, इसको कैसे करूं, ये क्या मतलब है, इससे कैसे होता है. सो आई रियलाइज कि आई वाज स्पेंडिंग ऑलमोस्ट एंटायर डे इन जस्ट रिप्लाइंग बैक ऑन फेसबुक और उनकी क्वेरीज सॉल्व करने में. And as a result, what happened was that Facebook group started gaining popularity, and we had some 25,000 people in a matter of few weeks. उसके बाद में फिर मैं seminars लेना भी शुरू कर दिया. So I vividly remember, I don't remember the exact things, but उसके बाद में फिर मैंने seminars लेना शुरू कर दिया.
तो फर्स्ट सेमिनार कैसे हुआ, मतलब हाउ डिड द फर्स्ट वन कम अबाउट, लाइक यू थॉट कि मैं लेता हूँ और पीपल टोल्ड यू कि लो, कहाँ पे लिया, लोकेशन कैसे करी?
Yeah, first seminar was in Multifit, Kalyani Nagar. So Samir is a good friend of mine, and I think मैंने उसको अप्रोच किया कि यार समीर, आई वांट टू कंडक्ट अ सेमिनार. और पहले ही सेमिनार में देयर वर अराउंड 300 प्लस पीपल. इतना फिल हो गया था वो सेमिनार कि वहाँ पे लोग खड़े हुए थे लास्ट में. सो बाय दैट टाइम आई हैड गेन्ड क्वाइट अ गुड रेपुटेशन. और सेमिनार के पहले, so the whole idea of squats actually came much before the seminar. I think when the group had roughly 25,000 people. और उसमें से कुछ जो लोग थे जैसे बाला या नादिर या जो मेरे इनिशियल को फाउंडर्स थे, मैंने उनको ये आइडिया बताया कि यार कई लोग ना ग्रुप में ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं लेकिन खुद से नहीं पढ़ रहे हैं. दे स्टिल नीड हेल्प, एंड आई डोंट वांट टू हेल्प सो मेनी पीपल क्योंकि इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर मी. व्हाट आई डिड वाज आई रोट अ बुकलेट फॉर देम, और मैंने उनको सब फ्री में दे दिया, बट दे स्टिल वांट टू कम एंड ट्रेन विद मी. सो आई सेड लेट्स डिस्कस एन आइडिया, एंड देन आई केम अक्रॉस दिस आइडिया ऑफ कि यार what if I educated these people instead of personally training them, और जिन जिनको मैं एजुकेट कर रहा हूँ वो लोग बाकी लोगों को ट्रेन कर लें. सो इसमें मुझे किसी से पैसे लेने की ज़रूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी, उन लोगों को जॉब मिल जाएगा, और बिकॉज ऐसे कितने भी लोग हो सकते हैं, तो हम और ज़्यादा लोगों को ट्रेन कर सकते हैं. सो ये आइडिया मैंने इन लोग के साथ में शेयर किया, स्क्वाड्स ग्रुप में भी आइडिया डाला, और आई थिंक वी हैड ग्रेट रिस्पॉन्स। उन लोगों ने 5,000 रुपये मुझे दिए, ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज आई डेंट वांट टू टेक एनी मनी फ्रॉम माय फैमिली, और मैंने खुद से कुछ थोड़े पैसे इकट्ठे किए, तो 90,000 रुपये हमारे टोटल इकट्ठे हुए थे। तो एक डेवलपर थे, शुभरंजन साहा, इज फ्रॉम कोलकाता, फ्रीलांसर। सो ही डिजाइन द फर्स्ट स्क्वाड्स वेबसाइट। तो डिज़ाइन मैंने की, डेवलपमेंट उन्होंने किया। तो वेबसाइट हमारी लॉन्च हुई जनवरी 2016 में। उसके पहले मैं 4-5 सेमिनार्स फिनिश कर चुका था। तो आई थिंक दिल्ली में फिनिश कर दिया था एक सेमिनार, एक सेमिनार मैंने पुणे में ले लिया था, एक बैंगलोर में ले लिया था, आई थिंक मुंबई में ले लिया था। सो ऐसे 4-5
And these were all free seminars.
फ्री सेमिनार्स, आई थिंक या दीज वर ऑल फ्री सेमिनार्स। इनिशियल सेमिनार्स वर फ्री, उसके बाद में 200-250 रुपये हम चार्ज करते थे लोगों को फॉर द कन्वेंस ऑन, क्योंकि कई बार फ्लाइट्स भी मुझे लेनी पड़ती थी यहाँ से वहाँ से। और आई थिंक कलेक्टिवली आई मस्ट हैव डन अराउंड 50 से 60 सेमिनार्स तो मिनिमम मैंने किए हैं पिछले 4-5 सालों में।
And these seminars were like on workout techniques, like how to work out.
This was all about quantified nutrition. How can you learn to stay fit all your life? So it was all on quantified nutrition and resistance training, importance of resistance training. So more of theory, but more of unlearning जो myths चले आ रहे हैं लोगों की कि यार दिन में 6 बार खाना है, 8 बार खाना है, या फैट्स खराब होते हैं, या कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स खराब होते हैं। सो जस्ट डिस्पेलिंग ऑल दीज मिथ्स जो लोगों के दिमाग में हो चुका है कि यार ये करने से ये होता है, वो all these things in a very scientific manner I used to explain. And जितना सेमिनार्स बढ़ते चले गए, उतनी कम्युनिटी बढ़ती चली गई, उतने रिजल्ट्स भी बढ़ते चले गए। सो आई रिमेंबर दैट 2016 जनवरी में हमने जब ये वेबसाइट लॉन्च की, एंड आई हैड बाय देन एजुकेटेड एंड ट्रेन्ड अराउंड 14 कोचेस। तो वी वर एन इमीडिएट हिट जनवरी में।
So, what was the concept of the website? It was that you can come and find a coach, and these were all coaches that you had personally approved. That was the concept. Plus, get information.
Yeah, 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 that was the concept, and information was always for free. So अगर आप जैसे मान लीजिए फिटर का ग्रुप ज्वाइन करते हैं, फिटर ग्रुप अगर आपने ज्वाइन किया है तो आपको पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी, गेट श्रेडेड डॉक्यूमेंट मिल जाएगा। उसके अलावा मैं आई यूज्ड टू राइट लाइक हंड्रेड्स ऑफ आर्टिकल्स बैक देन। सो वो सब पढ़ के आप खुद फिट हो सकते हो। अगर आपको फिर भी नहीं हो रहा है तो फिर आप एक कोच की हेल्प ले सकते हो, जो कि आपको एक मिनिमल फी चार्ज करेगा, 6,000 रुपये 3 महीने का, मतलब मंथली 2,000 रुपये। और अगर आपको रिजल्ट नहीं मिला तो आपको गारंटीड आपके पैसे 100% हम रिटर्न कर देंगे। तो एक ट्रस्ट था, एक ट्रांसपेरेंसी थी। दूसरा, आप अपना कोच चेंज कर सकते हो, चूज कर सकते हो, वो भी आपके ऊपर। आप रिव्यू दे सकते हो, आप फीडबैक दे सकते हो। सो एक बहुत ही ओपन एंड ट्रांसपेरेंट, जैसे ई कॉमर्स वेबसाइट्स पे होता है कि आप प्रोडक्ट जब परचेज करते हो, वैसे ही यहाँ पे हमने ई कोचिंग सर्विसेज चालू कर दी।
So, this was like the initial product itself had all these features, कि rating of coaches.
इनिशियल प्रोडक्ट, यस, इनिशियल प्रोडक्ट।
अच्छा, सब कुछ आपका डे वन से ही था फीचर्स, ये मोस्ट ऑफ दीज फीचर्स।
सब कुछ मोस्ट ऑफ द फीचर्स वर देयर। ओनली फीचर वाज कि डाइट चार्ट्स वगैरह जो थे पहले एक्सेल शीट्स में होते थे, अभी नाउ एवरीथिंग इज ऑटोमेटेड। बट उस टाइम पे एक्सेल शीट्स, वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट जो थी उसमें होते थे, और वो वेबसाइट पे अपलोड करते थे, यूजर उसको डाउनलोड करता था वेबसाइट से। तब कोई ऐप नहीं था हमारे पास में, तो वेबसाइट जो थी हमारी बन के रेडी।
ओके, हाँ हाँ। एंड यू वर स्टिल विद एम्फोसिस इस टाइम पे, जैन 2016 में।
हाँ, हाँ, जनवरी में मैं एम्फेसिस में था, और मैं वर्क फ्रॉम होम करता था क्योंकि मेरे बैक के इश्यूज अभी भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा थे। सो और माय मैनेजर वाज़ वेरी वेरी सपोर्टिव एट दैट टाइम, सो ही वाज़ लाइक ठीक है यार, कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। उसके बाद में मेरा प्रोजेक्ट शिफ्ट हुआ था एम्फेसिस में, बट आई कम टू दैट। बट हमने वेबसाइट लॉन्च की जनवरी 2016 में, एंड वी वर एन इमीडिएट हिट। हमने पहले महीने में ही लगभग 10 लाख का बिजनेस कर लिया था, और वी गॉट अराउंड 139 customers in the first month itself.
So ये 10 लाख would have gone largely to trainers, या did you also keep a percentage like a platform fees?
इनिशियल जो हमारे मार्जिन होते थे वो होते थे लगभग 20% के आसपास में। सो मेजोरिटी 10 लाख में से समझ लीजिए कि आप 8 लाख तो उनको ही चले गए। और उसके बाद में फिर मेंटेनेंस, गोडैडी सर्वर्स पे हमने परचेज किया था। बाकी एम्प्लॉयज तो कोई थे ही नहीं, मैं अकेला था उस टाइम पे, और वेबसाइट थी और शुभा था। सो शुभा को मंथली मेंटेनेंस एक फीस जाती थी, और मेरी सैलरी आती थी राइट ऑफिस से। सो आई वाज़न्ट रियली कंसर्न, मुझे सिर्फ ये दिख रहा था कि यार बिजनेस इतना हो गया, जेब में क्या है उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा था। इनफैक्ट कोई सैलरी-वैलरी भी नहीं लेते थे, मैं भी नहीं लेता था, क्योंकि मेरी ऑलरेडी एम्फेसिस से आती थी। इनफैक्ट जो सैलरी आती थी उसमें से भी हम वापस लगा देते थे। तो व्हेन वी स्टार्टेड डूइंग मंथली प्रॉफिट्स, अब पहले महीने में 10 का बिजनेस किया, फिर हमने लगभग 14 का किया, फिर उसके बाद में 16 का किया, उसके बाद में आई थिंक 24 का बिजनेस किया। सो ऐसे मंथली हमारे बिजनेस नंबर्स बढ़ते चले गए। और आई थिंक अराउंड मार्च मार्च या फरवरी 2016 या मार्च में मेरा प्रोजेक्ट चेंज हुआ एम्फेसिस में, एंड आई गॉट इनटू डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट। यहाँ का मैनेजर थोड़ा सा स्ट्रिक्ट था, उसको थोड़ा सा लग गया था कि यार दिस गाय इज डूइंग समथिंग आउटसाइड, और ये वर्क फ्रॉम होम करता रहता है। सो ही स्टार्टेड क्रिएटिंग सम इश्यूज। फिर मुझे लगा कि यार कोई मतलब नहीं है, मेरा जॉब में मन भी नहीं लग रहा है और मैं ये काम कर रहा हूँ, लेट मी गेट ऑल इनटू दिस एंड वील सी व्हाट हैपेंस। अब उस टाइम पे फिर घर से थोड़ा सा प्रेशर आया कि यार पहले बना तो लो, रिस्क मत लो, अभी तुमने 4 दिन देखे हैं बिजनेस में, हो सकता है चले ना चले। काफ़ी लोगों ने कन्विंस भी किया कि यार इसको साइड प्रोजेक्ट चला लो, वो कर लो, वो कर लो, बट वो क्या होता है ना, कई बार व्हेन यू मेक अप योर माइंड, जब आपको लगता है कि नहीं यार दिस विल वर्क, सो देन आई डिडंट लिसन टू एनी ऑफ देम। फिर मैंने अपना
And you were the sole bread earner? Yeah, was your wife working?
नहीं नहीं, आई वाज द सोल ब्रेड अर्नर। तो फिर मैंने फाइनली क्विट कर दिया, एंड जब क्विट कर दिया तो फिर फैमिली ने भी कुछ ज़्यादा परेशान नहीं किया, दे सेड चलो यार कर दिया, ऑल वी कैन डू इज सपोर्ट। सो फिर आई थिंक अप्रैल के आसपास में वी स्टार्टेड मेकिंग 24-25 lakhs इन रेवेन्यू, और फिर वो बढ़ते 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 साल के एंड तक वी यूज टू डू 50 लाख का बिजनेस एक महीने में। इन द फर्स्ट ईयर इटसेल्फ आई थिंक वी डिड अ बिजनेस ऑफ अराउंड 9 crores।
Okay, amazing.
2016 17 FY जो था, वी डिड अ बिजनेस ऑफ अराउंड 9.4 crores के आसपास में हमने पूरा बिजनेस फिनिश किया, और अगेन विद हेल्दी प्रॉफिट्स। और धीरे धीरे करके ट्रेनर्स बढ़ाते गए। एक हमने पहले एकेडमी खोल ली, स्क्वाड्स एकेडमी करके, फिर बाद में उसका नाम चेंज करके हमने INFS कर दिया। और फिर उसके बाद में बहुत सारी चीज़ें हुई थ्रू आउट, जैसे आई मेट माई को फाउंडर्स। एक पुराना को फाउंडर था जो कि छोड़ के चला गया, कंपनी में से कई लोग छोड़ के चले गए। फिर उसके बाद में 2016 की इवेंट है ये, एंड इट वाज दे मेड अ पैरेलल बिजनेस। उन्होंने पूरा सॉफ्टवेयर उठा के उसकी कॉपी करके एक दूसरी वेबसाइट बना ली, कुछ ट्रेनर्स भी छोड़ के चले गए। सो देयर वर ऑलवेज चैलेंजेस इन द बिजनेस, बट फिर धीरे 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 करके।
So, how does a coach do the coaching? Is it like, is there a chat interface in the app, or is it video based, or what is it like?
Yeah, it's a chat interface is there. The audio and video calling is also coming. It will take another one week probably. So we will also have a video and audio based interface. Previously, they used to have WhatsApp calls and videos. For chatting, they used to use the app chat. Apart from that, we have tools. So they have a tracker, they have a calendar, they have different kind of tools which allow them to create exercise videos, allows them to create recipes. All those things are there. So the app has recipes, app has transformations, app has a section where people can post their queries and people can discuss, just like Facebook. It's kind of like a social media platform, but we call it a community. So it's a community app, not a social media platform, right? So it's a community app where you can post recipes, articles, everything is there. And there are roughly 8 to 10 tools which can help you create diet and training plans, exercise videos, roughly 600 plus exercise videos, and we also take live classes. So all those things are there.
So, in a way, you've empowered a trainer with all the tools that he would need to do training effectively.
Yes, yes, yes.
How do you sign up more trainers? It's like from the community only, that people who are interested, I mean, does one, and is there a process, like, does one need to do some certification or something? Like, what is the vetting that you do?
So interestingly, a lot of our trainers were actually one point of time our clients. So we expect a lot of our clients to become trainers, and that's actually very aspirational for them too. A lot of people, I'd say 90-95% of our trainers are actually from Fittr community. So two ways it works. Either the guys who are in the community, they want to become trainers, they will become fit first, and they will enroll with the INFS certification. INFS offers different certifications, but we have minimum requirement of foundation plus expert. The course fee is roughly around 20-25,000 INR, and it's around 6 to 7 months and duration. So after this 6 to 7 months, you have FTP, you have live interview, you have to write review articles, and you have to be active in the community and contribute to the community. So, and you have to be fit. So based on different parameters, we select the best of the best guys.
And the INFS coaching is like live class, like they have to be physically there, or is that online?
It's like online. It's like Byju's. It's like Udemy. So you have physical books which will be sent to you, but you also have everything online where you can read the chapters. You can submit your quizzes. You can take the exam also. Everything happens live.
Okay, okay, got it. And so I guess the lockdown would not really have impacted you much in terms of business revenues because most of what you do is already online, right? Okay. Have you seen like a spurt, like a growth happening because more people are at home and maybe interested in fitness? Or I mean, what have you seen like April onwards?
Well, April was kind of a low month for us. January was pretty good. We did close to 4 CR. Then February was okay, like every, because January is usually a high peak kind of a month because a lot of people go on these fitness resolutions, right? So Jan was definitely one of the best months. And then February was on an average okay. Then March was very positive in the first half, but second half में announcement आ गई थी मोदी जी की, right? So वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा लास्ट के 10 दिनों में हमारा business खराब हो गया. So we could not even touch three. It affected our revenues by at least 15 to 20%. उसके बाद में फिर April was severely down. Our business was affected by around 40%. बाद में फिर May onwards, when people realized that this lockdown is going to be part of their lives, they started coming back. So we almost reached, decent levels of February. First we reached in May, and then June we almost touched levels of January. And this month, I think we have surpassed all our previous records. We are set to do a business of roughly 5 CR. So that has been unprecedented. And I think it's also kind of a growth which we were anyways pegged towards had the coronavirus not happened. But yeah, that's where we are right now.
And what's your plan? Like, how do you plan to use the funds that you've raised? Like, what will you be spending it on?
Well, majority of the fund will be utilized for content generation. We are a content platform, right? Because it's a community, and a lot of funds will be utilized for growing this community and technology. So right now we have around 95 employees. We do have some tech requirements, and now because we are becoming a international kind of a business, we have started getting more and more customers from abroad, and we have to focus both on globalization as well as micro markets, so localization at the same time. So we need more and more senior guys, who understand business, who understand technology, who understand product. So a lot of hirings will be done in the coming days. So that's where the funds will be utilized. So priority is hiring, tech, and community growth. These are the three places. Marketing is still on the back burner. We still haven't figured out why do we need to market when community growth is the main revenue channel for us. So we just focus on community.
So, for people who are startup founders, do you have like some useful hacks on how they can remain fit while running a startup, which is very demanding? You know, it's like having a second marriage when you start up. How do you balance that with the need to be fit?
The majority of a founder's time is spent in building something, right? So when you are building something, you need your 100% undivided attention on building that. And you cannot give your 100% undivided attention if you have some sort of physical ailment. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, someday. So that means that your productivity is going to get affected if you don't take care of your health. I would say if you are fit, you are going to build a much better startup in the long term because you'll be more productive. Now, again, there are a lot of variables, but I'm saying, let's say there are two people with the exact caliber, exact same talent, but one is fit and the other one is unfit. The fit guy will end up doing much better than the unfit guy. Or let's say a fitter version of you will be much better at running a job or running a startup than an unfit version of you. So don't think of fitness as a separate aspect of it. Think about it as like, you're getting 100% undivided attention, 100% mental focus because you don't have any body issues, right? And it's basic sanitization. If you are not taking care of your body, if you're not taking care of your surroundings, if you don't make your bed in the morning, these habits translate. So people must be thinking, I don't have to do my household chores. Boss, I get up at 6. Trust me, me and my daughter and my wife, we all love working. And our house is pristine clean. We work out and we work and fix our daily household chores much before even the world wakes up, and no complaints whatsoever. Because what else is there? What other choice do you have? So we have to just understand that there are certain things which are the way they are, and they will be the way they will be. For example, your health. If you are messing around with your health today, there is no way that you will get it back despite doing whatever you can in future. So staying fit is really, really important. If you are not physically fit, there is a chance that you're also not mentally as fit as you could be. Because I feel physical fitness and mental fitness is like day and night. You can say day is important, night is more important, but hey, one comes after the other, right? It's like day and night, and everything is you can't do that in isolation. For example, if it's calories in versus calories out, right? If you are not controlling your calories, if you are eating too much food, then even the exercise won't help you, because you are eating too much. It's like putting 50 liters fuel in a 40-liter tank. You will definitely have an overflow. Got it, right? And similarly, if you just diet and if you just control your calories but you're not exercising, you're not building your muscles, right? So one is the energy part of things. The second is, how do you build stronger bones, stronger muscles? Through exercising.
But why do you need to build stronger bones and muscles? And I mean, why is that important?
Well, it's important because if you are not building stronger bones and muscles over a period of time, your body starts wasting away stronger bones and muscles. It's simple. For body, it's simple. Use it or lose it. So if you are not using your muscles, if you are not using your body, the body will start wasting away these parts. And it happens more in people who are on severe caloric deficit, because the body will see, okay, this guy is eating less calories anyways. Why does he need all these muscles? Because he's not even working out. So you lose your muscles, and when you lose your muscles, you have all sorts of problems. You have injuries, you have bone issues, you have so many issues. And that's why when people get old, they have a bend, they have a hunch, right? Because they don't have enough muscles to support their height, they don't have enough muscles to support their back straightness, and that's why they have a hunch. That's why they have bone issues. That's why they have knee issues, and everything starts making noises, because they don't have muscles. So the entire body's weight falls on the bones. Bones get weaker over a period of time, and people end up in a very miserable condition.
What are some of the common myths relating to fitness in India, among like widely held myths that Indians have about fitness that you would like to dispel?
Look, one of the first things is, people think fitness is sort of a luxury, or they have to do something extra to get fit. I think it's crap. Fitness minimum takes 45, minimum to maximum takes 45 minutes a day, and just eating mindfully and rightfully, the things that you have to eat. Protein is not dangerous. Protein is one of the most building blocks of the body, basic building block of the body. Without adequate amount of protein, even your mental development cannot happen properly. Please don't run away from protein. Protein is the basic. If you're not eating adequate amount of protein, rest assured, you will leave poor genetics for yourself, your kids in the future. Your kids will not become tall enough. The main reason why the average Indian height is so bad compared to some of the countries in the world is because we lack protein. The nutritional data on deficiencies, which was released by the national this thing, right? So they had taken a survey, and they realized that we are severely deficient in protein, and despite feeding so much, our children are still malnourished despite having adequate food. So there is malnutrition in obese kids, and that's kind of counterintuitive, because you must be thinking, oh, my kid is eating so much, how can he be malnourished? Because he's eating junk, he's not eating the right food, he's not eating enough protein. So first, don't run away from protein. Please take protein. Protein comes from different sources, so it's you don't have to be a non-vegetarian. Like, I'm almost like a vegan nowadays. I quit meat, I quit eggs almost 6 months back, and I quit meat almost a year back, and I've been still just for ethical reasons, right? And I was not like a lifelong meat eater. It is something which I had picked up in Bangalore because one of my friend, he force fed me, and then that's when it started. Otherwise, we were always vegetarians back then. My entire family is vegetarian. So I quit it last year, and I'm still in good shape. I'm getting better. I'm progressing every single day. I box, and so you don't have to be a non-vegetarian. You can build good muscles at home also. You don't have to necessarily go to the gym, right? So it's almost 130 days of me working out at home. I work out with my entire family, and all of us, we are fit and fine.
How about number of meals in a day?
Again, that's Okay, so there's a meta-analysis which suggested that number of meals does not matter. What matters is the total caloric intake, and it's a simple concept. See, अगर गाड़ी है आपकी, उसमें 8 लीटर आपको पेट्रोल डालना है, एक एक लीटर करके आप 8 बार डाल लो या 4 लीटर करके आप 2 बार डाल लो, एट द एंड ऑफ द गाड़ी में जा तो 8 ही लीटर रहा है ना, बस वही है। सेम बॉडी का भी वैसे कंसेप्ट है। अगर आपको 2 मील्स खानी तो आप 2 खा लो, आपको 4 खानी तो 4 खा लो, 6 खानी तो 6 खा लो, बट ये मत बोलो कि 6 मील इज बेटर देन 2 मील्स और 2 मील्स इज बेटर देन 6 मील्स।
So there is this diet trend called 1 meal a day.
आई थिंक अगर कैलोरीज आपके उतने ही अगर आप कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं तो उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कई लोग करते हैं। आई जनरली प्रेफर 2 to 3 मील्स अ डे एंड आई स्प्लिट माई मील्स। अब ओ मैड में प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाता है कि आप एक बार में 2000-2500 कैलोरीज नहीं खा सकते। सो इट इज गुड फॉर पीपल प्रोबली हु हैव लाइक सुपर बिजी स्केड्यूल्स या जो दिन में खा नहीं पाते हैं, बट आप इमेजिन करिए 2000 कैलोरीज एक मील में खाना इज वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट।
What is that? Does that work?
अगर आप 800 के ऊपर भी अगर कैलोरी खा लेते हैं एक मील में, सो बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाती है। एंड जस्ट टू गिव यू अ रफ एस्टिमेशन, 2000 कैलोरीज इज लाइक 400 ग्राम राइस अनकुक्ड, 500 ग्राम राइस अनकुक्ड, आधा किलो राइस अनकुक्ड, कुक करने के बाद में ऑलमोस्ट 2.5 किलो हो जाता है। सो दैट्स 2000 कैलोरीज फॉर यू।
तो Jan 2016 जब आपने शुरू किया तो you were alone या you had co-founders already?
So I had Bala, Nadir, Rohit, all the Rohit nahi tha, Bala, Nadir, Akshay, Anupam, the guys who had initially invested $5,000, right? So वो लोग तो थे तभी, तो हम लोग आपस में ही जो भी काम होता था वो हैंडल कर लेते। मेजोरिटी वर्क मैं, बाला और नादिर करते थे, बाकी अक्षय, अनुपम, एकांकी ये लोग कोचिंग का काम करते थे ज़्यादातर। सो इनिशियल जो काम था मैं, बाला और नादिर हैंडल करते थे, फिर धीरे धीरे नादिर को भी दूसरा दूसरा काम मिलता गया, उसने काफ़ी दिन तक सपोर्ट किया। उसके बाद में फिर देन ही वेंट इनटू अ डिफरेंट business vertical which didn't work later on, but me and Bala stayed in the मतलब core business. And Nadir, again, जितने लोग थे वो अभी भी हैं, all of them are still working with us, they are still coaches. Bala is one of the directors in the company, I'm director, and all other coaches are very very highly paid thriving coaches. So हमारा फर्स्ट ईयर ख़त्म हुआ, फिर सेकेंड ईयर ख़त्म हुआ, बिजनेस डबल्ड, फिर उसके बाद में थर्ड, एंड नाउ वी हैव कंप्लीटेड ऑलमोस्ट 4.7 years now. एंड आई थिंक हम लोग का क्यूमुलेटिव ग्रॉस रेवेन्यू एक टारगेट था 100 करोड़ का, वो हम लोगों ने मार्च में कंप्लीट कर लिया था अपना, 2020 मार्च में क्यूमुलेटिव ग्रॉस रेवेन्यू का। उसके बाद से वी गॉट इनटू वाई कॉम्बिनेटर बाय द वे लास्ट ईयर।
So, but why did you need to go through the fundraising route? मतलब you were saying कि you had profitability right from year one. तो वो fundraising की जरूरत क्या थी?
I think, see, when I started, I had no clue कि बॉस business क्या होता है, कैसे करना होता है. In fact, we started looking for investors by the start of 2016 itself. हम लोगों ने March 2016 में my co-founder back then co-founder, he started reaching out to investors. He said, "Say, like, this is trendy, this is cool, and today we are a growing business. Anybody would be willing to invest." We reached out to multiple investors, but kuch investors, some investors asked for 30% equity, some said don't do this, do that, and sadly I could not agree to any of them. My co-founder was very eager, but I could not agree to any of them, and I was also not very keen, but he was very keen on raising funds. In fact, मैंने fundraising को कभी उतना prioritize किया भी नहीं, and throughout multiple years, कभी कभार यहाँ वहाँ से हम fundraise के लिए बात चलाते थे, but I was never very eager. और हमेशा इट वाज लाइक वीड स्टार्ट अ कन्वर्सेशन, कभी इन्वेस्टर मना कर देता था, कभी हम मना कर देते थे, एंड नेवर हैपेंड। 2019 में आई थिंक मेरे एक कलीग ने कैजुअली अप्लाई किया था वाई कॉम्बिनेटर में और वहाँ पे सिलेक्ट हो गया। अंटिल देन आई ऑनेस्टली डिडंट नो व्हाट वाई कॉम्बिनेटर वाज, एंड इट्स काइंड ऑफ अ शेम बिकॉज इट्स वेरी फेमस। फिर उसके बाद में मैंने उसके बारे में पढ़ना स्टार्ट किया, एंड आई एम नॉट अ वेल रेड गाय, मैं पढ़ता नहीं हूँ, मुझे ना, मैं ज़्यादा पढ़ता नहीं हूँ। आई एम मोर ऑफ अ ऑब्जर्व एंड रिफ्लेक्ट काइंड ऑफ अ गाय। सो मुझे मेरी लिमिटेड चीज़ें जितना पता है उन चीज़ों को बहुत इन डेप्थ में पकड़ने की आदत है। सो अगर मुझे किसी भी एक चीज़ के बारे में पता है, सो आई विल गो टू द वेरी वेरी एक्सट्रीम डेप्थ ऑफ दैट थिंग। दैट इज व्हाट आई डू इंस्टेड ऑफ कलेक्टिंग, एसिमुलेट करते हैं ना कई लोग नॉलेज की दुनिया का, ये भी ले लूँ, वो भी ले लूँ, ये भी ले लूँ, वैसा नहीं है। आई नो अबाउट वन थिंग एंड आई गो इन डेप्थ अबाउट दैट वन थिंग, राइट? सो वाई कॉम्बिनेटर का सिलेक्शन हो गया, पता चला कि Y Combinator ये है, it's very famous and not everybody gets a chance. So prepared थोड़ा सा उनने फिल विल करके, एंड देन Y Combinator का एक वीडियो इंटरव्यू होता है जो कि आपको वीडियो इंटरव्यू करके सबमिट कर दिया कैजुअली, उसमें भी सिलेक्ट हो गए। तो उसके बाद में फिर उसका फाइनल राउंड था बैंगलोर में। और इसके पहले हम लोग का लास्ट 2018 में वी हैड रिजेक्टेड एक्विजिशन डील एंड वी हैड आल्सो रिजेक्टेड अ वेरी बिग इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफर। तो उस टाइम से थोड़ा सा लग रहा था कि यार कहीं कुछ गलती तो नहीं कर दी। तो थोड़ा सा एक दिमाग में हो गया था कि सी बहुत सारी फिटनेस कंपनीज आ रही है मार्केट में, बहुत सारा पैसा भी उठा रही हैं, और ये लोग मार्केट।
Your fit आ गया था क्या by that time?
हाँ, कल्ट आ चुका था। कल्ट आई थिंक कल्ट हैड कम इन 2017-18 के आसपास में आ गया था, एंड दे वर मेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ नॉइस बैक देन। सो एक्विजिशन के ऑफर्स भी आए, तो हमने वो सब, अगेन डिफरेंस ऑफ फिलॉसफी, राइट? सो in fact the acquisition offer was from cult actually, which I had rejected। और 2 बार मेरी मीटिंग्स भी हुई। I met मुकेश बंसल, right? And he I remember him telling me ki see, it's better to be a part of a uh, big कुछ तो भी था वो, एक कि छोटे तालाब की मछली, और कुछ तो भी ऐसा कुछ था कि like better to have a 1% stake in a $1 billion company than having a like 100% stake in a $1 million company, something like that। और उस टाइम तक हम लोग का 50 करोड़ का बिजनेस हम कर चुके थे। सो दे गेव अस एक्विजिशन ऑफर, बट वो उतना लुक्रेटिव लगा नहीं, और मुझे भी थोड़ा सा फिलोसफिकल उनका जमा नहीं था। मुझे लगा नहीं था कि मतलब वो नॉइस बहुत हो रही थी, लेकिन उनका बिजनेस मॉडल थोड़ा मुझे फंडामेंटली फ्लॉड लगा उस टाइम पे। तो मैंने उनको,
क्या आपको मतलब what was your analysis?
यार सी लॉट ऑफ पीपल बैक देन वर कि यार कल्ट है, ये है, वो है। मैं कहा बॉस, ऑल दीज थिंग्स दे हैपन। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इतने सारे उन्होंने जिम्स खोल दिए हैं, ऑपरेशनल कॉस्ट इतना हाई है, कभी कभी वो लिक्विड हो ही नहीं पाएंगे। दूसरा, सेकंड, दे वेंट इनटू ईटरी बिजनेस। अब इंडिया में जो हेल्थ फूड का बिजनेस है ना, इट्स अ वेरी लो बैरियर बिजनेस, कोई भी घुस सकता है उसमें। एंड देन हाउ डू यू डिफरेंशिएट कि बस आपका खाना हेल्दी है, किसी और का नहीं है? तीसरी चीज, व्हेन यू से कैलोरीज, कैलोरीज आपने स्टार्ट किया कि सैलेड वर्सेस पास्ता, आदमी क्या खाएगा? वो पास्ता ही खाएगा ना। सो वो अप्रोच इंडिया में चलने वाली इतनी जल्दी नहीं थी। हमारा कल्चर नहीं है फिटनेस का। फर्स्ट वी हैव टू एड्रेस द कल्चर। कल्चरल एक प्रॉब्लम जो है, जब तक आप उसको फिक्स नहीं करोगे ना, सो उस कल्चर से जुड़ी हुई सारी चीजें मार्केट में रहेंगी। सो इट्स लाइक घर में नेटफ्लिक्स है, अब आदमी को आप बोलोगे कि दूरदर्शन देख लो, क्यों देखेगा यार वो? राइट? सो देयर वाज अ cultural problem with the whole thing that they were doing. It was very aspirational, अभी भी काफी aspirational है। I have huge respect for these guys, बट उस टाइम पे मुझे लगा कि यार इनका बिजनेस मॉडल थोड़ा सा फ्लॉड है, और दिस इज अ मोर ऑफ अ गजलर। मतलब कि दे विल कीप ऑन रेजिंग फंड्स एंड वैल्यूएशंस, एंड आई डिडंट वांट टू बी डूइंग अ मीनिंगलेस बिजनेस। मेरा काम ये था कि बस मैं एक जन को भी फिट कर रहा हूँ, वो फिट होकर मुझे थैंक यू बोल के जा रहा है, आई एम हैप्पी। और ऐसा नहीं है, वी वर नॉट बिग इनफ, लाइक हम मंथली हमारा 2 सवा 2 करोड़ का बिजनेस होता था, राइट, बैक देन। सो उसके बाद में फिर थोड़ा ऐसा भी रहता है कि यार मैं क्यों, मैं भी इतना बड़ा बिजनेस बना लूंगा, मुझे नहीं करना इनके साथ में। फिर एक इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रपोजल भी रिजेक्ट कर दिया था। तो ऑल दोज थिंग्स वर वेइंग वेरी हेविली ऑन मी। मुझे लगा कि यार कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि फिर मेरे को फाउंडर्स को लगे कि यार ये बंदा क्रेजी हो गया है। सो आई स्टार्टेड टेकिंग इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स वेरी सीरियसली। और वाई कॉम्बिनेटर में जब हुआ, सो वी वर ऑल वेरी एक्साइटेड। फिर मैं बैंगलोर गया, वहाँ पे spoke to Tracy, who was the main, who was the partner at YC, and she interviewed। फिर बता दिया उनको जो भी था, है ना। आई थिंक बाय दैट टाइम वी वर ऑलरेडी डूइंग ए 3 CR अ मंथ बिजनेस। तो बिजनेस मॉडल भी हमारा ठीक ठाक था। बाय देन वी हैड अराउंड 175 180 के आसपास में कोचेस हो चुके थे हमारे। एंड वी हैड ऑलमोस्ट 85-90,000 के आसपास में, somewhere around the same line we had customers, so they selected us।
You had Sonal as a co-founder with you by this time.
Yes, Sonal was co-founder. Sonal I met in October 2016, and since then she had become a co-founder.
So what was the understanding, like why did she join? What was it from her side and what was it from your side?
So initially when we started, it was just me and Bala. We were the directors, and Nadir was also one of the directors, but later he moved to Wolfpack, which was our apparel brand, right? Us time pe we had two more co-founders. I don't want to take their names because they left. So, and us time pe when they were co-founders, I was training Sonal for a beauty pageant. She had reached out to me via some friends connection, and she was taking part in a beauty pageant, and she asked me, JC, if I can train her. So I started training her, and she got results. And we used to only chat on WhatsApp, and she used to send me her updates, and I used to tell her workouts and diet वगैरह. तब तक कोई formal वो नहीं थी. 2016 में October में we did an event called Connect. Connect में we were looking for speakers, and she had just won this pageant, and she had also been associated with different NGOs. So and Rohit had joined the team. He was not a director until this point. So it was me and Bala who were directors, and my two other co-founders, they were directors, right? And Jyoti was also there. I'll tell you a story about Jyoti. Jyoti was also a co-founder, but she was not a director in Squats. She was a director in INFS, Squats Academy back then. So we invited her as a guest speaker in 2016 for that Connect event. And when she came, all the team, when we took all the speakers out for dining and we were discussing, उस टाइम पे ही कई लोगों ने मुझे बताया कि बॉस these two co-founders that are sitting, they are plotting and planning something, and they are trying to break off with the company, and this is something which I had a hunch, but वहाँ पे मेरे ये confirm हो गया कि boss this is happening. And one of my guy, he was handling the entire corporate side of things, and seeing that Sonal had extensive corporate experience, I told her that, hey, what are you doing? And she told me that she was working in London, and with Deloitte, and how she's from LSE, and she's not currently doing anything. She's pursuing options. So I said, would you be open to working with Fittr? So first she was like, because nobody knew about Fittr back then, and she comes from like a different reputed firms, and obviously a LSE grad. Or here I was like a graduate from Technocrat starting a small company. But I anyways pushed the idea, and somehow she felt like "Okay, that would be a nice thing to do." And so we had an equity deal, and then she got into the company as a co-founder and handled corporate. Now throughout the whole transition phase, when these co-founders left, she was very instrumental. So she took over everything in a very nice and consistent manner without me getting mentally affected. And at the same point of time, Rohit also became a co-founder, because when these guys left, they not only took our website, they took three of our best coaches. They took the coaches, they took the website which was under development, and I was left with literally zero. So when they were there was a tech team. Now there was no tech team, no corporate, no accounting, nothing. And transactions are still happening. Clients are already enrolling. I know nothing about accounting. मुझे एक idea नहीं था. My co-founder was the one who used to maintain accounting and all those things. I had no clue whatsoever. And we remember, me and Rohit, we used to sit at nights and handle everything. And these guys did it so abruptly that none of us got a chance to reflect on what is happening.
तो ये क्यों मतलब क्यों हुआ? Why did they leave? It can't just be कि उनको पैसा और चाहिए था ना, क्योंकि if you are in a growing business तो पैसा और तो आ ही जाएगा.
Right. I think first was a principal disagreement. I think they didn't like my approach or my way of doing things. Like whenever they tried to push their agenda, I would just shut them down, telling them to focus on the main business, which was, making people fit. I think one was that. Also, I think there was a huge fight.
Do you regret that कि you were not open to their ideas?
No, no. I'm glad I stuck to my principles. Had I listened to them, we'd be done and dusted back then, which is something what happened with their companies later on. So I could very well be done and dusted in the future, but at this point of time, if you ask me if I regret, no, I don't regret. I think the major fight broke out when there was a party in Kalyani Nagar, and of course I'm not a party guy, and I'm a very strict and disciplined guy, right? So I don't like doing all this stuff like where people go and drink and party and smoke and all those things. I did have smoking habits, but I left them, right? So this party was there, and some of our coaches went. This, I think this was after Connect, and later on I came to know that this party was extremely radical, and the coaches were complaining about each other, and they were bitching about each other, and somebody brought in weed and all those kind of things. I think that incident resulted in me being really really angry at these two co-founders. And I said, you guys, you realize that we are a fitness company, we can't let all these kind of things happen. And they took it very casually. I think after that the relationships went sour, and over a period of time it just went went from bad to worse. And then I told them that, guys, I don't think it's working out between us. They left. I cried, and then Rohit was there, Bala was there, and Sonal was there. Joe was on borderline because she was not sure what was happening. But finally, she was convinced that whatever I did was the right thing to do. And then all of us, five of us, we are very close now, and we have been very very close for the last 4.5 years since that incident. And I think after that we never looked back, and that was the incident that also reaffirmed that, this is what this company will grow into. This is who we are. This is what we will do. This is what we will not do. And I think that also set the culture. That was, whatever happens, this company will always stand for health and fitness, and we'll never ever ever negotiate with anything that goes against our basic fundamentals.
So coming back to YC, so then you went for the final round of interview, and I assume you cleared that also.
Yeah, cleared that, and we got selected to YC, and the news broke out. And after that, uh, we were getting a lot of investor interest. I think we were getting almost 3 to 4 investor emails every week. Some emails from the same investors who refused to talk to us. Or some who were like who were stalling communication for several weeks. The same investors now suddenly started chasing us, and that's when I realized how powerful YC is. I went to US, and I think around the same time we had also applied to Sequoia search. So we didn't apply. The search team approached us, and then Sonal was handling all these things because finance is really her domain, and I suck at finance. So she worked with the Sequoia search team, and I still went ahead to YC while all the search thing was happening in the back end. Went there. The first week was good. After that, everything just the hype just died for me. It just didn't work out for me, and I after 3 to 4 weeks, I realized that that was not what I went there for. So I quit Y Combinator. I came back.
What is the Y Combinator value proposition to a, well, one of course you've told us is PR. Uske सिवाय what is the core value proposition of?
So Y Combinator gives you $100,000, no strings attached, in a form of a safe, and the safe only materializes if you raise subsequent investment. Right. So it's a good program, and we were amongst the 200 best startups in the world for their 2020 winter batch. So it was a pretty big deal. And Y Combinator is very very famous. Like some of the best startups in the world have come out of Y Combinator. So Stripe, Airbnb, these were the startups which came out of Y Combinator, and we know how big these are.
Why didn't you like it?
Yeah, I personally feel that over a period of time, their focus had changed, and all they were wanted us to do was just raise funds. Because honestly, there was a huge conflict of interest in the way it was operating. See, they select a lot of startups and they invest $100,000, which means that they are investing $100,000 per startup. Now, if the startup ends up raising more funds, let's say 1 million, 2 million, the value of their 100,000 suddenly starts getting bigger. So for them, it was really, really important that the maximum number of startups end up raising funds. So their approach was very cookie cutter. Get so many startups, give them $100,000 and train them how to raise funds. If they raise funds, our money multiplies. I didn't go there to raise funds, right? I went there so I can learn more about business and entrepreneurship. And I had been attending a lot of boot camps from MIT. I went to Tokyo, I went to Boston, and I just thought that this Y Combinator thing would be similar such experience. Well, you'll learn a lot of things about entrepreneurship, but it was all about fundraise. And the fact that the guys were asking us to pivot and focus on non-community aspect, it just didn't rhyme with me well. And so after a while I said, boss, fuck it. Whatever you want.
What was their suggested pivot? Like what were they asking you to do?
They said, see, you first of all, we don't understand your business model. Now Tracy somehow was not the part of the program there. I just don't know how. Maybe she was sick or she was on some sort of a leave. So the other mentors who were there, they just didn't understand the value prop, and they didn't understand why I was focusing so much on community. And every time they would ask, I say it's a community platform. It's a community platform. They seem to like getting agitated. They said, you are making people fit. Why the community? Where are you going with this social media thing? And I think that's where the frustration came in. I'm like, okay, no matter what I do, these guys will never understand what I'm trying to do. And maybe Tracy did, but she's not here. So finally, I think in the third or fourth week, I wrote a mail to Michael Siebel. I told the YC team that, boss, there's a lot of philosophical difference. This is not what I came here for, and so I would like to withdraw my name from YC. So withdrew from there, came here. By that time, Surge started their due diligence, and due diligence is an extremely thorough and complex process. It has so many processes. So me and Zonal, we had both our fingers crossed, hoping that we will get cleared in due diligence, and we got cleared in due diligence. And there were no red flags. The companies, basically in due diligence, they check if there's any kind of monetary issues or any kind of legal. Luckily, there were no such issues.
What do they look at in the due diligence? That basically they see that financially everything is clean.
Yeah, financially, legally, the company is clean. There are no cases. There are no issues, because see, Surge is a very premium program, and it's a program by Sequoia, which is one of the largest VC firms in the world, and it's so big that almost 75% of Nasdaq is literally owned by Sequoia. So Sequoia invested in Google. Sequoia invested in Apple. So in fact, Sequoia is one of the investors in Y Combinator too, right? So Sequoia Surge is a program for growing startups. They don't give you seed funding. They probably give you a more like a growth seed fund, because the check size is typically between 1.5 to $2 million compared to YC, which gives you $100,000. So deal wise, definitely it was better. Apart from that, I think the thing that changed my perspective about Surge was talking to one of the guys. His name is Rajan. Now, Rajan is the one who leads, uh, Surge in India, and he is ex Google. And what an amazing guy! Like he told me that JC communities are extremely important, and communities are actually kind of a solid business moat. And more we spoke to him, more we realized, look, this is the guy who understands exactly what we are trying to do. And he was extremely supported. So that changed everything for us. And that's when we decided, boss, good thing we left Y Combinator. Now let's just cross our fingers and see if we can get through the due diligence. We went through the due diligence. They wired us the money, and this is where we are right now.
So, what is the need for funds? I mean, your business is like profitable, right?
So I'll tell you what is the need for fund. See, what happens is we work on the concept of a TAM, which is the size of the market, right? Now, generally, businesses, when the TAM is huge, both matters. Like quality matters and scale matters. Because let's say if your TAM is, let's say, 2 billion users, and which is kind of the case here, because 2 billion people on the planet are suffering from lifestyle diseases, and they contribute to, let's say, $2 trillion worth of business via wellness and fitness services. Fitness obviously is the smaller one, but wellness services. So you see, the TAM is pretty huge, which means that if a business is trying to solve the problem, and if they grow at the current pace that they are growing, they will never be able to solve those problems in time effective manner. Getting my point? For example, if I want to reach out to 50 million people and make them fit, I cannot do that if I'm just making 100,000 people fit every year. That would take me a longer time. So what any company needs is scale, because the TAM is big. If the TAM is small, then you don't have to scale, right? For example, let's say take a company like Byju's. Why is Byju growing so fast? Because the TAM is big. Because there are millions of students who immediately need coaching services. Now, if Byju was a small business and Byju was only limited to 1 or 2 cities, those 1 or 2 million students wouldn't be able to access what Byju is providing, right? So it's important that if you are solving a problem, you solve that problem for a lot of users in a fast manner, because otherwise it's a disservice to those users too, right? For example, today we say Apple is a great company or Google is a great company. Now imagine if Google didn't scale as fast as it did, we wouldn't have Google today. So it was extremely important for Google to take that Google search from US to literally every part of the world. So scale matters. You have to scale when the TAM is big. So in our business also, the TAM is pretty big. So today, let's say this year, we end up transforming 100,000 people. But 100,000 people are not going to become 50 million people if we just do 100,000, year after year after year. So it is also kind of our fiduciary responsibility to the stakeholders, to the people who are suffering from these diseases, to reach out to them as soon as possible. And to do that, sometimes you have to use funds, be it in terms of developing that tech, be it in terms of hiring more people, be it in terms of sometimes marketing, which we haven't done so far, or be it in terms of just going out, establishing distribution channels. For example, monthly we spend around 20 lakh rupees on just our AWS hosting because the clients want a seamless service. And just to confirm, we haven't used a single dime out of Sequoia's money as of yet. So as of yet, we are still using money, and we still have roughly $500,000 of our own hard-earned profit liquid in the bank. So before we even touch Sequoia's money, we still have our own fund which we haven't used. The point is that if you have enough money in the bank, you feel safe. And we haven't fired anybody despite the pandemic. We didn't take any drastic measures. Everything was very smooth, and even now everything is very smooth because there's money in the bank, right? So you feel safe, and when you are safe, you are able to take more rational decisions. So that was the whole logic behind why people raise funds, and some of these companies end up raising funds. It's a direct relationship with the TAM. If the TAM is big, you have to scale, otherwise you will never be able to fix the problem. And if you are not fixing the problem, a quack might enter the market and he will try to uh, make the problem even worse.
So, how are you fixing the fitness problem? Can you take me through? Is it like a coaching through messages, or is it like a video-based lessons, or what is it like?
Our business is a very secondary aspect of everything. Our primary business is community. We believe that fitness is an essential habit. The fact that people think taking shower, brushing your teeth should be habit, but exercising and eating right is sort of a sacrifice or a difficult choice or a tough choice, I think it's nonsense. Eating right and exercising should be a habit too. Now, why is that not there? Because of the mental conditioning that we grew up with. It's partially a problem with the society, and partially of the leaders, partially of the environment we grew up in, partially on the movies. So there are so many responsible factors for this whole differential approach that people take when they look at fitness. And again, that has become sort of a very different kind of a business. So now you have one side where people are not motivated to go to the gym, not thinking of fitness as a habit, and then other side you have businesses which are like, oh, fitness is a journey, fitness is life, fitness is this, blah blah blah, all that. And it has become a very big business, right? So fitness today is a very very big business. What we are trying to do is we are trying to fix that problem by telling people that, boss, you don't need motivation for fitness. Fitness is a habit. Honestly, in my view, people should not even talk about fitness. We don't talk about shower, or we don't talk about brushing our teeth every day, right? And if you think about it, what are these? When you brush your teeth, you're just cleaning your teeth, right? You're taking care of your teeth. When you take a shower, you're taking care of your skin. When you're eating right, exercising, you're taking care of your body inside out. What's the difference, right? But people have taken these things to extreme measures. They have taken fitness to extreme measures. We want to bring that sense back into people that, boss, fitness is nothing. It is not a journey. It is not your life. It's a start. It's basic hygiene. If you are physically fit, you get more time to become more mentally fit, and you can do much more with your life. As simple as this. That's it. So we are more of habit coaches. We inculcate nice habits, good habits in people.
I mean, tell me with a little bit. So, you've given me a top level view that you want to build fitness as a habit, but tell me in a little bit more detail, like how you go about doing this. Like, what are the steps that you take, or what are the features of the product that make it possible?
Right. So the biggest thing is community. Look, we are social animals, right? So for us, we seek reason in everything that we do. If five people are doing something, the sixth guy will come and try to understand why these five people are doing what they're doing. And if it is fun, whether there's logic or not, he'll start doing the same. And there have been multiple social experiments which prove that, automatically people have this habit of following the herd. So for example, if five people are doing, some sort of a stupid thing like excessive eating, the other person will start doing that. Like, when did it became all about food? When you think about it, when did it all became about food? Were we a society, which promoted food? When did it happen? It was vested interest. It was vested interest from different people who were either selling food or who just realized that people love food, and sometimes people, when they eat food, they will have the habit of buying and eating more and more food. So they just started putting this idea in the minds of people that everything is about food. So today we go to weddings, people talk over food. Birthdays, it's all about cakes and food. Parties, all about drinks and food, right? So they address the social aspect. They said food equals to social connect. Food, friend, society. This is how the circle has become. We are trying to change that by saying friend, fitness, and society. So first thing is community. In this community of, let's say, 6 lakh people right now, we have roughly in one of the largest groups, and then collectively we have over 850,000 people, 870,000 people collectively. So on the app and Facebook group. So when these 870,000 people, or let's say 50% of them, are engaging in fitness or fitness related activities or fitness related arguments or subjects or topics, what happens to the rest of the people who come in or join in? They don't feel left out. They find it easy for them to start talking and discussing about fitness.
It's like going for your IIT entrance preparation. Well, everyone in quota is like that. So you've created an online like a quota, but for fitness.
Yes, right. So that's the first step. So you will get the mental conditioning that okay, it's okay to talk about fitness. It's okay to not talk about food for once in their life, and people are not going to judge them. And we don't care whether you are fit, unfit, whatever stage you are in your life, as long as you are willing to take a start. As long as you are willing to start, and as long as you are trying to become a better version of yourself. It's a very uplifted, progressive kind of a community, right? So we don't put anybody down. And once you join the community, the second step is okay, now there are so many fit people, how do I become fit? So once that desire to become fit comes in, then we supply with them with the knowledge. So there's enough knowledge in the group, on the app, everything is for free. So people read through these things and try to do it on their own. A lot of people end up getting fit on their own. We don't even ask them or ask them to go with a coach or anything. We don't have a marketing approach. We say try to do it by yourself first, because if we don't get a customer, we might get a good coach, right? So these people try to do it on their own, and then later on there are always some people, let's say 10% of the people who can't do it on their own, they end up enrolling with our coaches. So as the community grows, the more number of fit people grow, and so the number of people who enroll with our coaches grows, and that's how the revenue grows. So revenue is a direct function of the community growth.
So the only source of revenue for you is when someone signs up for a coach. There's no other. You're not looking at advertising on the app. Like you could advertise nutrition supplements and gym equipment. Why is that?
Because that's not our priority. That's not our priority. Our priority is growing the community, changing the culture. See, I think we are very well positioned to become the only company in the world which can solve this problem effectively once and for all by changing the culture, this whole culture. And I think it's somehow is the problem is very personal to me, it's a very personal problem. And so at this point of time, for me, it's not the money that fascinates me. It's the fact that I'm able to change or mobilize an entire generation into thinking contrary to what they have been thinking all along. And that's a very powerful thing. That's a personal goal for me. So I want to be a change maker. I want my coaches to become change makers. Because let's be honest, who remembers anybody who has lots of money? People remember change makers. And if we are doing some sort of positive change, if we are bringing a positive change in the society, I would love to be remembered as positive change maker. I would not love to be remembered as a guy who made tons of money. And that's why we stay away from any sort of product, any sort of supplements, any sort of marketing. We don't do any kind of marketing because it works for us. The non-marketing approach sort of is kind of marketing for us. It's kind of marketing when we don't market. When you tell 50 people or 100 people, when everybody's saying, hey, Fittr does not market, aren't they indirectly marketing us? Right? So it works for us. The contrarian approach, it works for us. It suits our business. And we are a very, very high on ethics kind of a business. So let's say people come to us even after 1 year, say, JC, in 2016 or 2017, I enrolled with you, I lost 5 kgs instead of 10. We will not argue with them. We'll say, okay, what do you want? Do you want a refund or do you want a different coach? And they have this choice even after 1 year, even after 2 years. So the most customer centric business, the most employee centric business, and the most social centric business. That's what I intend. And that's what we have been trying to build for the last 4.5 years. Now, of course, with every time we achieve a milestone, the beliefs, it further deepens and it strengthens our resolve even further.
So that was an informative conversation between Akshay and Jitendra, and I'm sure that there's a lot that you will be taking away. However, the most important and even the most imperative task for you is to have the Fittr app in your cell phones. And if you don't, Then what are you waiting for? Head to the App Store now and download the application. And don't forget to thank JC for all the discounts and deals.
If you like the Founder Thesis podcast, then do check out our other shows on subjects like marketing, technology, career advice, books, and drama. Visit thepodium.in, that is thepodium.in for a complete list of all our shows.
This was an HT Smartcast original.
HT Smartcast.
Log on to htsmartcast.com to listen to more such podcasts.